This is part 66 of our cry for help. We are in a dying emergency every which way. Okay? And I can't even communicate to anybody. Number one, before I tell you how this cult is really trying to kill us now, what they did, they confiscated our videos, almost every wonderful website that picked us up. Okay? And what they do also on the browser pages, like I said, Susan and Joseph Tropeano, cry for help. And, you know, so many people picked us up for the scam at Walmart, the scam, you know, and all the office stores, because we found that every office store is doing it, from Staples to Walmart to Best Buy to Sears to Office Max. They all have those fraudulent labels where, from Microsoft, okay, where they, where it looks like a kindergarten child glued on those labels, okay? And then I show it to some legitimate people in Radio Shack, okay, who don't really know about it, because Greg at Best Buy in Brooklyn, New York, not far, it was in Sarah City, right, Joe? Greg, a salesman at Best Buy in Sarah City, he was the nicest salesman. He saw those labels. He says, yeah. He says, this looks like an inside job.
Very nice guy.
Yes, very nice guy. He helped us out in so many ways. We spent about 3 hours with him in the store. He says, this looks like an inside job with the shipper. He's the one that told us that. Anyway, we're supposed to go back the next day to Greg to do something with him.
He was going to be there all day.
Okay, and he told us, I'm going to be here all day, as usual, because Greg was helping us and he wasn't part of the corruption. He wasn't there, okay, because we're supposed to meet the manager to report the counterfeit computers. But Joe and I kind of figured this was going to happen, because every time we get somebody helping us, there was another very nice lady there called Samantha. She was a black lady. She was a sweetheart, and she was helping us to get a legitimate computer also. But they all saw that the Microsoft barcode labels were not correct. Okay, and Samantha got really scared. She saw the cult there. Okay, she saw everything there. She says, I am so scared. I can't take this, she said. This is too much for me. Anyway, Samantha from Best Buy over there with Greg were not there the next day when both of them were supposed to be there. And to make a long story short, we meet the manager, Vilroy. As soon as we met Vilroy, we knew it wasn't going to work. He looked like comes there with an attitude and, you know, a mean look. He looks like a cult member, okay? He's got that look. We started telling him what's going on. Okay, he said, oh no. He didn't want to even talk about it. Then we had to return our 3G there, because it was quite obvious that 3G wasn't going to work, because we trusted Greg yesterday, but he didn't know. The day before, and he got it for us. And I said, where'd you get it? Because it wasn't hanging up. He says, it's locked in a drawer at Best Buy. And I said to Greg, are you sure this is okay? And he guaranteed us it's okay, and you can return it. You can return your card. We got a $50 card.
No problem.
With no problem, a prepaid card with it. Anyway.
He was going to oversee it.
And he was going to oversee it. So we thought we'd be safe. But of course, Greg disappeared from the store. And that's what happens all the time when someone is honest and wants to help us. So we went there. Guess what? Just like at Walmart, this big scandal continues. We went there, and Greg was not there. Everybody made a different excuse. Somebody said, oh, he just stepped out. Somebody else said, oh, he hasn't been here the whole day.
Somebody says, oh, you left early.
Or someone else said, he left early. We knew the stories already, because we're so accustomed to the stories. When someone helps us, the very next day, they're not there. This happens all the time, because we do get people that help us, and then they disappear, and you can never find them again. Anyway, so we meet the manager. Knew as soon as you met the manager with his attitude, he looks evil. And I told him first I told him about that I want to return because the cashier, automatically, these two Spanish girls at the cashier are saying, absolutely not. You cannot return your prepaid card. I said, why not? I said, we didn't even scratch it off. No, you can't.
Just can't do it.
You just can't do it. So we knew already, just like in Walmart, they would not return the T-Mobile prepaid card. So already we spent $25 for the T-Mobile. The T-Mobile was counterfeit to 4G. Then we buy a Virgin 3G. So we're stuck with a $50 card. We didn't even want to try to use the 3G in that store because we went to Best Buy to activate it. And this black guy that's supposedly supposed to activate this on our computer, he's laughing. He's making jokes. And he's totally disrespectful towards us. And I said, look, I said, I don't trust this store because of what's going on. And I want to know for sure that if this 3G does not work, I'm able to return the card. So he goes, oh no, you can't return the card. That's before we went to the cashier. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. And he's cracking up in our face. So you know what? I didn't even want to scratch off the card because I knew that the 3G wasn't going to work. That's why they got rid of Greg. That's why this other sales lady that was in the other day, she's half Chinese and half Spanish. She looks at us like with a smirk and like a sneaky look. I mean, you walk in these stores and you get the feeling of corruption. Okay? Everybody knows who we are. What this cult does, they distribute pictures of us to every store, supermarket, medical office, bank, everywhere we go. And when we walk in these places, everyone's talking about us. And we don't get services. Well, we don't use banks anyway because our bank account was robbed. But we have to sometimes go into banks for other reasons, which I will not divulge. But the cult knows anyway because they know every part of our business. So anyway, to make a long, horrific nightmare story short, we did not let this crazy black guy in Best Buy activate our 3G because we knew it wouldn't work. And then he scratches the car and then we'd be in double jeopardy, okay, with all this corruption going on because policies in stores don't apply to us anymore. Okay? Everything we are barred from. So we asked for the manager. After the two Spanish girls at the register said, oh no, you can't return this card. You bought it, it's yours. I said, but I'm returning my 3G. It doesn't, no, can't return prepaid cards. Meanwhile, even with this corruption, we had other prepaid cards before it got to the point where they literally want to poison our food, which I didn't even get to yet. We are able to return prepaid cards. Now, we are totally more barred. You can't do anything in your life. You can only pay and not use. Like you pay for medical insurance, but you can't use it because you have medical corruption. You pay for pharmaceutical insurance, but you can't use it because you have pharmaceutical corruption. And all this corruption is, I used to say, Freemasonic gang stalking cult, which it is. But the most important word that I left out is a police cult. This cult is so powerful and so huge because the police allowed this cult to flourish. And they manufacture things and distribute these counterfeit items, you know, other places. However, they distribute all counterfeit for us, everything that we need. They know that we get counterfeit. And they hate us because we discovered they're counterfeit. And the police are actually at these stores where we try to get either a computer or a 4G. And we have taken pictures of them. And that's why this is so scary. Because the corrupt police protect these thugs because they get wealthy from them. It's all about wheeling and dealing. I take care of you and you take care of me. Okay? And Susan and Joe must die because they know everything. I mean, this is very dangerous what we're in. We need help. This is why we put on YouTube, although they confiscate our videos, we still do it. Because we know there are people listening to our story. We know it. And they know that we can't communicate. And we're asking you to help us behind the scenes. Because we are constantly followed by the police also. It's not just the cult. This cult is made up of a good majority of police officers that are corrupt, brutal, and raging. And we need help because they think they're the law. And they're not. They belong behind bars. Okay? This is like Nazi Germany. And someone's got to help us. And there are signs that people are helping us, which I will not divulge on this video. And I haven't even told you anything yet. Because there's so much that's going on. It drives you nuts. And we need help. I'm begging to help us before we die from these people. They're going to beat us up. They're going to do something. They're going to kidnap us. It's so evident. Once I finish the story, you will see it. We can't even step out of our house without fearing for our lives. We need help. Please help us. Please. I'm fighting all these people on my own. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so scary. Because you're fighting the police. You're fighting the police. The police are part of this. And we cannot live like this anymore. The police are protecting these hardcore criminals because they do counterfeit things with them, and I don't really care what the police do. I just want my life back.
Okay.
I don't care if you wheel and deal with them. Just leave us alone.
We need the help. We gotta get these monsters, these cockroaches off our lives.
The thugs, that's what they're called.
Okay, but they're worse than thugs. They're cockroaches. They're worse than.
And I haven't even told you anything. It's so scary.
Like Susan says, they confiscate all our videos. They mock. They put mocking comments, like tag words.
And they do the same to Brian Jacobson, my nephew that's pronounced dead but alive. Okay, if you look up Brian Jacobson in New York City, you're going to see things he's dead, but he's alive. And what I discovered, and the cult is trying to get me off the site because I discovered it, they equate Brian Jacobson because my nephew is gay. He's a beautiful guy. I have nothing against Brian.
Okay, they can't really hear you when you're crying.
I have nothing against my nephew, Brian. He's a good guy. He's a good-looking guy. He's got everything going for him, but they destroyed him too. And they show YouTube videos of gay dogs. Okay, and they said they finally came out of the closet, and his parents are proud of him that he's gay. They do the same thing to Brian Jacobson, exactly the same thing. They confiscate his videos, they cross out his name, they edit his videos. They do the same thing to him. Brian Jacobson is my nephew, and there's family secrets, and my family is like part of the cult. Okay? And we didn't even get to the family yet. It's outrageous what's going on. My mother died for this. And I know this cult, they believe in money and death. The police, this crazy, corrupt police, they believe in money and death. We don't want to die. We want to live.
we
We
want
want to live like United States citizens. And they don't let us. They don't let us. And I haven't even told you what happened yet. I am terrified. I am terrified. I don't know where I'm going to get my next medicines. I can't get them. Not with this code in existence. We'll be right back.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll be back.